morning, everyone. Thank you so very much for being with us. We're going to get started here. So welcome to this webinar. It's the value of an AWS Academy and employment, a faculty webinar. So welcome to the faculty and everyone that's on the line. Just before we jump in, I'd like to invite you to change the name on your window so we can see who's with us. If you would please have your name and then the name of the institution that you're from. We'd appreciate knowing who's here. So welcome, my name is Cynthia Farrell, and I am the Vice President at the Texas Association of Community Colleges Texas Success Center. And we're very happy to get to share with you this webinar that will introduce you to a great opportunity and a partnership that we have with AWS. I wanted you to know that this work sits in the overarching work that you all are committed to in your guided pathways work. And so I just wanted to share with you that everything that you do when you participate with the Success Center and allowing us to come alongside your student success efforts, it's all because TAC and the Success Center is deeply dedicated to social and economic mobility and the work that the community colleges do across the state. And so our guided pathways model has morphed as we went into the pandemic, and many people, up to 4 million at one point, 4 million Texans had applied for unemployment insurance. And so we had so many adults and displaced workers in all of our communities that we knew that the community colleges would be the engine of economic recovery, both for our businesses and for our citizens. And so we have reached out to, with our guided pathways work, adults in our communities. And when they come to our community colleges, we want them to know that what they're going to find there are career pathways that are easily accessible and that we have built with our partnerships with our employers in our area. And so that they can quickly upskill and reskill. So this is our TRUE initiative. As you know, as a state, we've taken on this TRUE initiative together so that we can build a stronger Texas economy and that we'll have a greater success with our 60 by 30 goals. So I wanted you to know that the work that you're going to be talking about today with AWS is a part of our TRUE initiative, and I wanted you to know the other components. So the Texas Association of Community College is an advocacy association, and we took on a legislative priority around these short-term credentials leading to high demand, high wage jobs. And we were able to advocate for the TRUE legislation that was signed by the governor and resulted in $26 million being set aside for this very initiative. And so those funds went to the the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. And as you know, there was an RFP that went out, and 46 two-year colleges received that $26 million to work on this work. Also happening as a TRUE initiative out of TAC is we put together a business advisory council. So many of your community colleges already have deep relationships with businesses, but we wanted to create a statewide council. And so we have prominent business leaders and workforce advisory boards and chambers of commerce that come together and build out our business advisory council, both to give us advice on and advocacy for legislation, but also to help advise on our TRUE programmatic work with the colleges. We've also built out the data infrastructure at TAC. Many of you know, if you came to the institutes, there are several data dashboards that are now available to help you not only work with your key performance indicators, but also to access labor market information to help inform your work around building out these short-term credentials. So lastly, the fourth component of the TRUE initiative is the support for building out micro-credentials and short-term credentials. And so we have been doing that work. The proof point pilot that was done just completed a year's worth of work where 12 colleges came together and they partnered with 40 different employers and built out 50 short-term credentials that were packaged within their longer-term guided pathways programs, their meta majors, so that students could easily come in, get their skills built up in 6 months or less, get jobs, and then know that they can come back to the community colleges for further education and for promotion power. So all along these, we had these goals with our TRUE initiative that we wanted first and foremost to be engaged with businesses and to have all of our data and our programmatic work validated by industry so that we can stay closely aligned. We wanted to make sure that we're accelerating employment training so that folks can get back to work quickly. And we wanted to do this in a way that's sustainable and built into our institutional processes and programming so that we can lay the groundwork for sustainable talent pipelines all across the state. This is a look at the different businesses that TAC and industry partners that TAC has been working with. So you can see that there are some prominent statewide strong business leaders that are now advisors to TAC. And you see there the second one, Amazon Web Services, has definitely served well on our Business Advisory Council and has been a really great partner and was really the first one out of the gate to have a big project that they wanted to work on, a statewide project that they wanted to work on with us, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And so I've invited my friend and colleague, Dr. Martha Ellis, to tell you about this webinar and the faculty workshops. Martha.
Thank you, Cynthia. And it's wonderful to be with all of you today as we on this journey together for our students in the state of Texas. Today's webinar will provide you with information on tools and resources that are available to you at no cost from Amazon Web Services, enabling you to offer AWS Academy and courses on your campus. The webinar will also provide information on employment opportunities for your students when they complete the certification. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat box. And also I will be posting the PowerPoint slides in the chat box for your reference. After today's webinar, we will have Faculty Day workshops in the month of February at 4 different locations that you see on the screen. You can pick a date and location that's best for you, as all 4 of these are identical. The workshops will be from 10 until 3, and lunch will be provided. At this point in time, we are planning on having these in person. You'll also note on the slide, there is a registration link that I will also put in the chat. This registration link takes you to the Texas Success Center website events page. Just scroll down on that page, pick the date of your choice, and register for that particular workshop. Also, please feel free to share this link with your colleagues who might be interested in attending. Please note that each workshop will be limited to 50 people, and also the registration for each workshop will close 1 week prior to the date of that workshop, so we can make sure and have lunch for everybody. So with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Dr. John Lee, who is the program manager for Education to Workforce from Amazon Web Services. And I have certainly enjoyed working with him the past few months as we've started to develop this partnership. So John, please. John, I think you're on mute. There we go.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you. My apologies. Something didn't quite go right there. I thank you, Martha. Thank you, Cynthia. It's been a privilege and a joy to work with you and TAC and statewide with faculty members in Texas. I'm excited to share with you some of the things that are going on with respect to our partnership and particularly with our employer partners as well to help bring employment opportunities to your students in your schools. And I'll share a little bit, but I want to introduce a little bit about the program itself that we offer. Allow me to share my screen. And if I may, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty for some reason. Okay. Please let me know if you can see that. need to.
Yes, we can see it, but
This was working just fine earlier, but
we just need a full screen.
okay,
Yeah,
great.
terrific. Thank you.
So I work with AWS Education to Workforce. What we do is we help enable and provide some educational resources to community colleges, in this case with Texas, and then also help on the back end of it, where we want to help students who go through our program and take advantage of the free educational resources, and working with the school to so that students could get jobs. I just want to share some exciting things. At AWS, there are 15,000 jobs that are relatively technical and varying degrees of technical jobs that are available that are not yet filled. And so we hire people to do these jobs, but give them 3 months to get trained up and be certified in order to do their jobs, because we just can't find enough people who are already qualified. And so if you could imagine AWS being the largest cloud provider, and we have a hard time securing people who are skilled, so we give them 3 months and pay them to study and get certified. That results in a whole lot of our customers and partners who are looking for the same people and not able to find. So there's a great crisis in the industry overall. But I would say at the same time, there's a tremendous opportunity to fill those gaps. And we want to help in partnership with community colleges in Texas to train up students who can actually take advantage of the growing field that's out there. So why cloud skills matter, I've just shared with you a little bit. And the migration to the clouds has accelerated greatly in the last few years, particularly with pandemic. Everything's going to the cloud, including the Zoom call like this. It's all being done in the cloud. You can't do this in a local data center anymore. So the cloud is the future. If you could imagine the 20th century, what was the thing that changed 20th century? You could say it's the oil. Well, the oil of the 21st century is data, and lots of it. Internet of all things. When you get into an Uber car, the data that gets generated all over the world is just immense. Where do you process and manage all the data? With not only in place like Uber, or there's manufacturing, oil, retail, in every sector, data is being generated. So that's the new oil. But what do you do with oil? You can't put oil into gas tanks. You got to convert it into refine it. All that is being done in the cloud. So the jobs that are being created, the fastest growing segment, it has to do with data, meaning cloud related workloads. So with that in mind, with thousands of jobs that are being created, at least in this sector, we want to partner with colleges and universities to help train the next generation. A lot of these companies that you see are already invested in AWS cloud, and more are being done there. Just to give you an idea, LinkedIn, cloud computing is the #1 hard skills companies are looking for and need the most. In fact, it's 2020, but for the past 3 years, the same thing. And just last month, it was 2021. There was 1.4 million person gap in the software development jobs. When I say software development, IT generally, and qualified applicants to fill these positions. And so the need is there, and opportunities are also there. So we want to come alongside. So the Academy program was developed 4 years ago to fill the gap, to close the gap here. We developed the curriculum in the cloud, related curriculum, aligned to post-secondary educational institutions and programs, and also largely aligned to industry recognized certification. And the goal of it is so that students who go through the program or take advantage of this will be employed. And we have institutions from 2-year institutions, 4-year, private, public, across the globe. Now 70 plus countries have joined. And so we see this phenomenon taking off. Certifications are valuable. It's not the only thing, but these are valuable. Of the top 10 or 15 certifications in the past several years, AWS certifications happen to be 2 or 3 of the top 10 or 15, and some of the highest paying as well. So with that just basic background in mind, allow me to share briefly about the program itself. AWS Academy program benefits are as follows. You have access to ready-to-teach curriculum developed and maintained by AWS. And by the way, I noticed in the names that many of the schools are already members of the academy and you're trying to get going. And so I want to invite you to those faculty sessions that we have that Martha announced in those 4 days. So we're going to go a little deeper, an opportunity for training and how to develop the program. But I just want to give you an overview today. So there are course updates that are regularly reflecting the latest releases and best practices. There are over 200 plus AWS services from storage to serverless programs, databases, EMR, big data, machine learning, all kinds. And it's hard to keep us internally, let alone any faculty member alone. So we do all the updating, provide the best practices, and you could take advantage of it. There are hands-on practical experience in the AWS console. So if you're a student learning, you don't just get the theory, but you also get to practice it and do projects. And complementary training, there's self-paced as well as in-person professional development programs we have in plan for this year in Texas. Academy forums as well, global discussion groups, and certifications. And the bottom line is important. It says 50% discount on AWS certifications for educators and students. Because we have a special agreement with TAC and Texas for if you're an educator or an instructor at a public institution in Texas, we are covering 100% of certification exams, up to 3 of them. For your students, they still get 50% off. So in terms of cost, our membership is free. Training, resources, marketing materials, support, all there's no cost to it. It just takes some time for faculty members to study up on some of the more advanced courses so that you could teach our course, and there's a process for that. Okay, so some of the dollar figures at the bottom is 50% discount rate. For example, Foundation's certificate is $100. It's the 50% off for students. Faculty members will get 100% discount. Okay. Just a brief outlook at some of the curriculum. So there are 4 pillars, really. There are lecture modules. These are digitally streamed video lectures. There are no books or any other materials to buy. They're all included. Hands-on labs where students can get in and practice. There are knowledge checks, multiple choice questions. So after each module, students will go through a digital multiple choice questions. You as an educator, you could use those multiple choice quizzes as part of your grade, or you could have your own grade. That's up to you. And the project exercise you could do that matches to the subject. I want to give you a kind of overview of the type of courses that we have available. Mainly there are 2 levels, foundations level and associate level. Foundations level typically has that name at the end of it. So at the top left-hand corner, you'll see Cloud Foundations course. This is the most popular course, thousands across the country that educators are teaching these. This is basically 20 content hours of what is a cloud, and AWS cloud in particular. What's a storage? What's a serverless? What's a EMR, or what we call big data, fire hose, serverless, all kinds of nomenclature, what they mean, security, virtual private cloud. So it kind of lays the ground for everything else. This course is very popular in computer information systems as well as business schools, because it covers IT. It's no longer, cloud is no longer just an IT solution or a tool, but it has become a business solution. And so it's becoming very ubiquitous all over. So it's very popular and taught all across the campus. So, and then at the bottom, you see machine learning foundations. Machine learning has become very, very popular. So some schools are developing certificate program around machine learning, artificial intelligence, and that could go with robotics and many other kinds of areas. So we have course for that. And as we get into an associate level, there are 40 content hours where students learn about architecting and developing and operations in the cloud. And data analytics is also very huge. Some of our schools, and we have some schools in Dallas and Houston areas, that developed the degree program pathways for students that take advantage of a number of these courses in the cloud, and they incorporate these courses. Some schools that are just starting up, start with Academy Foundations, Cloud Foundations, and say Cloud Operations. And you could use this course independently as its own, or you could use the course and embed it into an existing course you already have, so you don't have to go through approval process and developing a new course. So just to get started, many of our member schools simply embed it into an existing course that matches, like Networking 101, and you could put in pretty much any one of these courses and get started that way. Okay. And also there's significant use of it in the continuing education side, because it's free. All you need to get is get an adjunct educator who's already certified, and then get them on it and teaching a course quickly to serve the community at large and employees who are coming in from the commercial sector to get upskilled. And they use this in that way as well. So there are many opportunities. These courses can be taught asynchronously or synchronously, virtually, blended, in person, any which way you would like. And you could also teach these courses like Cloud Foundations and add any additional materials you want to add. We just want you to make sure that the students are exposed to the full course, so that when they take the certification exam, they have access to all the materials. Okay. So Cloud Foundations, a very popular course, as I mentioned. These are the topics that are covered in 10 modules. You could add discussion times in between those modules, totally up to you. So this talks about overall structure, security, networking, compute, storage, database, architecture, and so on. Okay. And then, for example, Cloud Architecting course is also a very popular course. This is the associate level course. And so it has 15 modules, 40 content hours. Again, it talks about how you make a very resilient, performant architecture, and how do you make it reliable. For example, if you store data in the cloud, what happens if there's a hurricane and an earthquake at the same time? Well, we have what we call 99.9999, 11 nines of reliability. So it's replicated at least 6 different locations. So even if there's a hurricane and an earthquake, your data is likely, we never say 100%, but that's as close as you could get. So they're safe. And so students learn about how you architect a well-architected framework. So when students learn these topics, they also have an opportunity to go into the Learner Lab, and you can set up a project in the Learner Lab, set up a class, invite your students into it, and have some projects. They're going to be given automatically $100 in AWS credit, and so they, in a safe sandbox environment, so there's no over the limit kind of things, they'll be able to do most projects within $100, not a problem. And this Learner Lab and the whole program is 2 tiers, Foundations tier and Associate level tier. And so Foundations tier has classes that are named as Foundations, and then has 40 AWS services in the Learner Lab where students could run projects. Associate level has all of the advantages of the Foundations level, plus associate level courses that you could deliver, and Learner Lab that has 100 AWS services that you could use. Only caveat is that in the associate level, we do require instructors to be certified in those areas that you're going to teach, and then be ready to be prepared to teach it. But we do provide all the learning materials as well. Okay. I don't want to share everything, but just to give you an idea. These are the certifications that are available in AWS. And we focus primarily in the green box area, where you see the black one at the bottom, Cloud Practitioner certification. That's the foundational level, and the course associated with Cloud Foundations. And the associate level certifications have courses that are aligned to each one of those. That's where you get the jobs, most visibility, and employers. When I got one of those and put it into my LinkedIn hit it's just multiplied tremendously. There's opportunity. And we cover part of the 50% of the exams for students, 100% for faculty members. There are other courses that are related in the specialty section. We just don't have it fully aligned to the specialty section because it does require some real world work experience, but we have foundational courses that address some of these specialty, like in machine learning, for example, and big data, and security course coming up this year. Okay, and if you're not a member yet, I would strongly encourage you to go to this website, take a look, and just send us a 7 or 8 line of short application information. Then we'll be able to engage you fully with you and help you onboard and provide you with the resources and to be able to take advantage of it. And so when we get you onboarded and your instructors start to get trained and ready to deliver courses, we also want to help you at the back end to connect with key and top employers who are searching, not just in 4-year institutions, but they're actively looking at community colleges to find people. We want to find the right employers and connect you directly, sometimes employer or two to a school or to open up to everyone. We have those opportunities, and let me hand it over to my friends at Infosys, they're here to share with you the kind of opportunities and what Infosys does, and a great chance to get to know them. And so we're going to be working with them along with TAC and your schools to see if your students could take advantage of these courses, get certified, and have a potential employment opportunities. Okay, I'll stop my sharing. And if there are any questions, we'll have some Q&A time right afterwards.
Great, thank you, John. I appreciate the segue. My name is Alex Martinez. I'm calling you guys from Hartford, Connecticut. I work for Infosys, and I just want to tell you about the exact kind of positions that that John was talking about. You know, programs like the AWS education provide so much flexibility and really provide a pathway directly to employment that really does not take that long at all for a lot of your students to find employment, sustainable employment, utilizing what they learned in school. So I'm really happy to talk to you guys. I work a lot with the community colleges here in Connecticut, transitioning a lot of their students from boot camps and their associate degree programs into Infosys as well. So I know one of you guys said that community colleges is the engine to economic recovery, and I agree with that 100%. So I have a little presentation set up just to show you about the positions that we have open. And then towards the end of the presentation, if you guys want to stay in contact or want the links to the job descriptions just to learn more about Infosys, I'd be happy to, more than happy to provide those. Give me one moment. Cool. Great. Can everybody see my screen? I can't see you guys, so I just want to make sure. Oh, not anymore. I clicked stop sharing. I apologize, guys.
Yes, we could see it when you did share.
Thank you. Hey, you know what? I apologize. I'm an hour ahead, but I'm still behind for some reason. There we go. So definitely, I wanted to talk about starting a career in technology because technology is the future, and it's such a booming industry that I love talking to young people about because it has so much, economic potential, but so much career flexibility. They can eventually transition into so many other things. I'm really passionate about, helping people start their career in technology, especially a great company like Infosys. So about Infosys, Infosys is really a digital services and consulting agency. We are available in 46 countries, and Infosys has really taken a lead in helping businesses transition digital to help them, with their IT issues and services. We're available in 50 countries, 250,000 employees, publicly traded company. 93.4% repeat business. So we really harp upon, relationships, building great relationships with not only the people that we work with and do business for, but in the department I work with working with student-oriented professionals like you guys and helping build, the best professionals as possible within our company. So like we said, working at Infosys, we work with a lot of different market segments, working with finance companies, manufacturing. Up here in Connecticut, it is the insurance capital of the world. So they do a lot of work with Aetna, Travelers, Cigna, the Hartford, a lot of insurance agencies as well. So that's something I love about Infosys. The people and the students that get a chance to work here, get a chance to network and get their name out there. And if Infosys isn't the future for them, 5 years from now, Infosys will help them get the position they want, 5 years from now. So that's what I always like to tell people. So programs like, AWS and really a lot of the entry-level programs and courses at community colleges give students, the skills and the ability to start working immediately. We find a lot of students who don't even have associate degrees that know Java, C++, or even just basic IT support skills that make them suitable for the position. And especially the AWS certification. From a recruiter's perspective, once we see AWS, we think, wow, this person is uniquely prepared and we want to get them in for an interview. So the open positions that we're going to talk about today are the tech support associate position, which all you need is a tech certification or tech coursework, whether it's in Java, whether, it's an AWS certification. As long as you have some sort of tech background, it's really an entry-level role, and it's built for people who are trying to get their foot into tech and really want to learn.
So while we're waiting on Alex, I think his battery went low. It looked like. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat box, or if you want to open up your mic, you can definitely ask John any type of question that you might have.
I don't want to take the thunder away from Alex when he returns, but I'd be happy to share some of the things that his organization has announced, that they're looking for to fill 1,000 positions at community college level. So and I think Texas may get the first dibs on that. So if you get your and the whole process is that if students take the course on AWS course that we offer and take advantage of it and get certified in one of the certifications, then Infosys will make sure that you get an interview, which I think is huge, that you'll get an interview with Infosys if you get certified in one of the certifications, AWS certifications. So we want to help you take advantage of the AWS curriculum that's out there, and teach it, and then students to learn it and be certified, and they'll have an opportunity. And Infosys is very emphatic that they're willing to do that. So that's a great opportunity. And if Alex, whenever you could come back.
So John, we do have a question.
Yes.
We do have a question here, John. To take advantage of the instructor certification discount, that 100% discount,
yep,
do we have to be already enrolled in an AWS Academy?
Yes, you need to be a member of AWS Academy as an institution. So I put in the website link right above it there, and you could apply. Number of your schools are already. If you're not, please take a look. Like I said, it's 7 or 8 lines of short informational application. And once we receive that, then we could onboard you and provide you with additional information and how to take advantage of it.
And so that link is there. John put it, AWS Academy. And then also, if you want to sign up for the workshops, I put that link in earlier. Alex, welcome back. John just gave the great news.
Guys.
Yeah, about the 1,000 opportunity. So we'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, hey guys, I apologize. I had my computer updated automatically. I kept delaying it. Then it just shut down automatically. I apologize, guys. Just give me a moment to finish my presentation, and then, I'd be happy to field any presentations. I'm sorry, that was completely unprofessional. But let me do that.
We're glad to know what happens to tech experts like you.
Oh my, I'm not even listening.
Thank you for making us feel better.
With the young people that I work with, it's just kind of like, I'm always, the cool thing about working at a tech company, there's always somebody who knows, about tech. So let me open this back up. Again, I apologize, guys. This is for a tech company, our recruiters are so not tech oriented. What, so you figure we pick anything up? But yeah, like I said, the positions we wanted to talk about were the tech support associate roles. Like I said, all you need is tech certifications and coursework, like the ones your community colleges offer in your program. And I've had a lot of people that I've recruited that are still in school right now working to get their associate's degrees or working to get their bachelor's who work as tech support associates. So it's kind of like an internship or a co-op, but it's a real position in the company that they can do. The senior tech support associate role is a bit more responsibility. They're working in the infrastructure and app development team, which allow them to kind of really groom their skills a bit more, allow them a lot more responsibility in the role, and also, gives them a lot more flexibility to be, promoted in the company should they choose to get a bachelor's. We also have roles open for people who have bachelor's degrees. So what I meet is a lot of, Infosys employees still getting certifications and still, being in school at the same time. And Infosys offers a lot of flexibility for that, for people who are still continuing their education. So like I said, the tech support associate, really entry-level position. And I love this role because it provides, immediate employment, immediate experience to people who have certifications. We have a new wave of young people fresh out of high school or people fresh out of data boot camps or coding boot camps who are able to just transition into full-time employment and are able to groom themselves, able to refine their skills a lot more, and eventually grow within the company, which is really what we love to see. And then, like we said, the app development roles and the infrastructure roles are a bit more advanced, but that's why we reserve them for people with associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees. These are working with application development and infrastructure, which is a little bit more refined, which is a little bit more specific, but we found that people who work within the tech support associate role, or people with, associate's degrees, or especially people with AWS certifications like the ones John, is promoting, then they really fit well into these leadership roles and they really do well in the company. So infrastructure role, of course. And then, like I said, I know a lot of students eventually transition to, they want to get their bachelor's. We do have a landing spot for any of your students who want to get a bachelor's degree, who want to continue their education. And we love to see people at Infosys eventually rise through the ranks, whether it be as students that eventually, once they're, have their bachelor's degrees and their, associates working with the software development and programming aspect. That's really what we want to see, growth and, refinement. So that is pretty much wraps it up. Like we said, we have hub locations and client locations. So we have, a base in Richardson, Texas, but we do have a lot of business in Texas as well, Houston, Fort Worth, the Dallas area. So we do have a lot of client locations. So there's a lot of work and business in Texas. So Infosys is pretty flexible when it comes to remote work and hybrid work. Sometimes, the majority of stuff they're going to do in person is staff meetings, client meetings, but that's a big reason Infosys, I love the position so much because you can go to school from home and then at the same time, get your work done for your job at home as well. So provides a lot of flexibility for employees. So thank you for accommodating, my little technical error, but that wraps up my presentation. If you guys would like the link to the job descriptions to share with any interested students, or if you just want the link to the Infosys website so you guys can learn about it, I'd be happy to put that in the chat. I'll do that right now. And then if you guys want to speak to me, I'll put my email in the chat as well. I'd love to have any conversations with you guys.
Thank you, Alex. And I
No
think,
problem.
John put some answers to some questions about membership. So hopefully that clarifies it. Happy to open it up for other questions, but let me turn it back over to John.
Thank you. We'll have some time for Q&A if there are any questions you may have. Some we've been doing it in chat, but feel free to open it up to everyone.
John, while we're letting people think about potential questions they might have, you mentioned at the faculty workshops that will be held in February at the 4 different locations, that it will be a time to go more in depth. Could you, and some training gets started, could you explain just a little bit, not details, but a little bit about that?
Certainly. Well, first of all, we have the dates all set up, but with the latest COVID raging, each organization and for us as well, and maybe for your school, how all this will play out is a little bit tricky at this point. We're keeping the dates as it is, and we want to do it in person. That's the plan, and I hope we can do that. But I think we may need to stay flexible a little bit. Our organization, I just checked, you said it's individual discretion at this point, but that could change any time as well. So we'll see. I'm hoping that we could do it in person. So what we want to do is, big part of the time, we want to have some professional development and introduce you to some specifics of our program, make it a professional development credit for you as well, so you could come. It'll be time for a bit of networking as well, and also understanding how to implement the academy program in the most effective way and share some best practices that other institutions are doing, so that you'll be able to implement this better and answer any questions you may have. So I have a trainer who I've scheduled to come, but again, depending on how it's going to work out, we'll have to schedule in a good way. We'll work out the logistics, but we'll be able to share with you, and any direct questions about the curriculum and how it's implemented, and some insights specifically to some topics that we're still discussing what's the best topic, but most likely it will be cloud foundations related and cloud generally. And we'll get some feedback from you as well. And then we're gonna try to help you find the right partners. And if indeed it's gonna be related to employment as well, we wanna hear from you as to what your needs are and your in your specific regions. Then we also want to be able to help you connect as well. So, but we got to get you started and onboarded, and I'll explain the onboarding process. But the first thing is we really request that you get the application in. If you're not a member institution already, then we'll be able to work with you and get it set up before the meeting, the faculty session time.
So John, Mary Ledbetter from Navarro is asking about, do you help integrate this into the current cloud computing degrees and certificates at the college? I would assume some of the best practices and some of the sharing that goes on will help with that process.
I believe so. I believe so, and we could certainly have some time to discuss the specifics of it.
We have a question from James about, does AWS have a list pairing academy content with WECM courses? WECM is the Texas Workforce Education course manual. Yeah.
We have our Cloud Foundations course that's already approved in WECM, as far as I know.
That's thanks.
And I believe additional courses are in the works.
Mm-hmm. So I think, Alex, thanks for putting your contact information in there, as well as the link for people to go to with the careers. So just want to make sure everyone noticed that in the chat. Thank you. I have a question about the AWS courses in WECM are separate from the current cloud computing courses. Are they separate or just in addition to, or John?
I'll have to take a look, but way the WECM course description may have been written is not specifically AWS, but cloud courses, but the content curriculum is mapping, aligning so that our course is WECM included in the WECM catalog.
Oh, okay. So the course content is included there, but not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily say AWS.
Yes, those are very good. So the names are not AWS specific,
right?
But the content is all in there. Yes.
Thanks, Al, for putting that up there. Great. Okay. So John, let me ask if you have any final words of wisdom for us or encouragement before I close us out.
Sure. I just want to say that we're seeing unprecedented growth in the IT sector. I know the economy as a whole has been, and some have done better than others. We may hear a lot of good things, a lot of jobs and everything, but I know there are still people who are really hurting, and they want to be reskilled. Our company, as well as Infosys and many others, are making every effort to reach people who are not as up to snuff in 100% and in everything, but those who are still struggling, wanting to get reskilled and upskilled, and opportunities will be there. We want to be able to, and then partly because as a company, we need to we need more people who are skilled. So that's why we're partnering with community colleges in Texas to enable students who want to be reskilled and upskilled, be able to come into a workforce that is well-paying, have a bright future and opportunity. So, and the company has spent millions of dollars developing these curriculum and programs. We would hope that you would take advantage of it. And with addition to supporting additional funding for exams, for faculty members to get certified so that you could teach it to your students, I think this is a great opportunity. Take advantage of it. And if you have any questions, we're here to answer and support you on your journey to develop these programs. And so companies like Infosys and many other employers in your state, some will be offering internships and apprenticeships, some directly interviews, and or all of them, that they'll be able to hire your students and give them a future. And we're very privileged to be part of the solution here.
Great. Thank you, John. And we had a few people that joined us a little bit late. So I just wanted to put the dates of the workshops up here again, the Faculty Day workshops that we've been referencing in the question and answer time period. Look forward to seeing many of you there. Please share this with your colleagues that may be interested. Dr. Ledbetter, thank you for your comments. And John and his team are here to help. So definitely, hopefully you can get what you need to get it launched. And we welcome you as a new administrator and faculty. With that, thank you to everyone for being here. We look forward to seeing you at a workshop and at future Pathways Institutes, and much success to you in the spring semester. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.